you been feeling?
I'm pretty depressed actually.
Okay. What's been going on?
Me and my wife have been fighting a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and she brought up divorce, and it could be a serious possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But if it happens, I'm afraid that I won't be able to find anybody else.
Okay. So that thought, I think we talked a little bit about it last time, is the automatic thought that you've been having. And sometimes our thoughts can be kind of unhelpful to our lives. So we call this cognitive distortions because the thought is distorted in some way. And it sounds to me that you seem to think that in every situation, the worst possible thing is going to happen. Would you agree or disagree?
I would agree.
Okay. So there's a bunch of different distortions in our thinking patterns, but one that I've noticed quite frequently as we've been talking is catastrophizing. And what that means is that you believe what might happen will be so awful that you won't be able to handle it. Like, it's just a catastrophe, it's the worst possible outcome.
Yeah.
Would you agree or disagree with that?
I would agree.
Okay. So, this thought, if you get a divorce, then you will never find another partner again. How much do you believe that thought on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not at all, you don't really believe that, and 10 is you believe that it's going to happen?
I'd say a 7.
Okay, so when you feel, or when you have this thought, how do you feel?
I feel unlovable.
Okay, so it seems that when you have the thought that if you get a divorce, then you will never find another partner again, it makes you feel this emotion of hopelessness. Would you say yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so when you have this feeling of hopelessness, or like you said, unlovable, how strong do you feel that? On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not at all and 10 is very much.
I'd say at least an 8.
Okay, so when you have this feeling and this thought, what do you typically do? What happens after that? And what is, when you start to feel this way, what do you do?
I normally just go sit by myself and be alone.
Okay, do you like that? Like, is that helpful for you, or is it more of an isolation?
It's more of an isolation.
Okay.
It makes me think.
Okay, like good or bad thinking?
I guess the worry of not being able to find someone else.
Okay, so if the thought is if you get a divorce, then you will never find another partner again, and it makes you feel this unlovable emotion, and when you feel that, you isolate. Is that right? Okay, so that's kind of where the cognitive thinking and the unhelpful thoughts come in. So that's something that we can definitely work on. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had this thought before, like in a different time of your life? Because sometimes in our cognitive thinking and our automatic thoughts, it can stem from things that happen in our childhood or our past. Everybody's different, but it can stem from other places sometimes.
Yeah. No, not really. The only time I really get to feel this way is after we have a fight.
Okay. So when you do have this feeling, what are some of the physical things that you notice that happen in your body?
I get these really fast thoughts, and I'll typically get headaches from it.
So are those racing thoughts, are they typically like helpful or unhelpful?
Normally unhelpful, but just because it makes me overthink, and it makes me think of the worst possible thing that could happen, and so it stresses me out to the point where I want to be alone.
Right.
But at the same time, me being alone, I think it's the worst.
Right. Okay, so I want to kind of challenge this thought that if you get a divorce, then you will never find another partner. So I want to challenge that is to what is the evidence that that thought is true? What in your life is true that would make that statement a possibility? That you will never find another partner again?
Well, I mean, I've been with other people before we got married, so I mean, I guess it's not completely out of the picture, but it just, I don't know, I feel like as far as a companion, you know, and getting, if we do get divorced, finding somebody that I could possibly remarry, that seems kind of a far shot.
Okay. So you have dated people before you got married, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of evidence that thought, if you get a divorce and you will never find another partner, that kind of makes it not true, correct? Yeah. Okay. So let's say that if you did get a divorce, like what is the worst possible thing that could happen?
That we were divorced and I wouldn't find anybody. And I would be alone the rest of my life.
And what is the best possibility that could come from this situation?
If we don't divorce and we do counseling.
Okay. So in between those, what do you think is the most realistic thing? The thing that's more than likely going to happen in this situation?
I don't know, probably the divorce.
Okay, so if you did get a divorce, do you think it's realistic that you'll never find another partner again?
No, I wouldn't completely rule it out. I just worry about finding somebody that I would marry.
Okay.
And I just don't feel like there's anybody else out there.
Okay. Yeah. So if you continue to think that if you get a divorce then you will never find another partner again, how do you think that's going to affect you negatively?
I'll just be depressed and I'll feel alone all the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it'd just be sad all the time.
Yeah, and do you think that would be helpful?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So, if you had a friend that was going through the same situation as you, what are some things that you would tell them or some of the advice that you would give them to help them out in this situation?
To try to do whatever's possible to make it work.
Okay, and what does that mean, whatever's possible?
To talk it out, to not fight as much,
Okay.
Or to avoid the fight, and try any means necessary to make it happen.
Okay, what are some ways that you can avoid fighting?
Try to listen to what she's saying and try to acknowledge it from her point of view.
Okay, and is that something that you think that you can do?
I think I could, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's definitely worth a try because I would much rather do that than to get a divorce.
Right. Okay, so I know last time we talked about having this thought journal and then like recording your thoughts. Have you been doing that?
Yeah.
And how's that been going?
It's been going okay.
Okay, is it something that you think you might want to continue?
Yeah, I think it's been helping. I think we should.
Okay, so let's continue that for next week. So I have another form here for you that you can use as a format. It's just like last time. So remember, you just write down the thought that you're having, how you're feeling, the emotion-wise, and how strong you feel. And then if you just bring that to me next week, we'll look over it.
Okay.
And then if this is going well, we can continue. But if it's not, continuing to go well, or it's not working for you, can't keep up with it, whatever, we'll figure out something else. Maybe we can try something different.
Okay.
So today, we talked about some of the unhelpful thoughts you've been having, and we kind of challenged those with evidence and the negative effects of those. So, is there anything that you would want to add next week, or anything that you want to change? Like, how do you think today went?
I think it went pretty good. I would like to talk more about things that I could do to help keep it from happening.
Okay.
I guess maybe we need to look into counseling and stuff and see what I could do to make things better to where we won't fight as much and hopefully we won't get a divorce.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that for next time, for sure.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I believe that's it.
Okay. Do you have any questions or concerns or anything else you want to talk about?
I'm kind of concerned just about, what I could do instead of being by myself after we fight.
Mm-hmm.
To try to either, because like the thoughts that go through my head after I'm alone tends to be worse off. Like it seems like it's the worst thing that could happen, and I don't want to feel that way because I don't want to lose hope.
Right. So I think the thought record will be good for that, so you can kind of see a pattern, and I can see as well when you do have thoughts like that and kind of what you're thinking. And then next session, I think it would be helpful for us to talk about some coping skills, maybe.
Okay.
Do you think that would be okay?
Yeah. So I kind of want to see what I could do to make it better on her.
Okay, yeah, that's something we can talk about for next time. So, well, it was good to see you, and I will see you next week.
Okay.